Chicago Fire boss confirms return of key character. We'll see him in Season 14 for sure. When Chicago Fire Season 13 started, we wondered if a particular character was only going to be around for a season. After all, it looked certain that Herman would move up the ranks and take the spot that Bowden said was his. So we didn't think we should get attached to Chief Pascal. Then things changed, and now Herman has handed over his boogles to make sure that Mouch has the spot that he wants. What does this mean for Chief Pascal, though? Is he going to be sticking around in Chicago Fire Season 14? Showrunner Andrea Newman told TV Insider that that is definitely the case. Some of the writing was definitely on the wall earlier in the season. While Herman moved up the ranks by taking the captain exam, and then working toward the chief exam, it was clear that he didn't really want that. As he realized that it would mean more paperwork and sitting behind a desk, he decided that he wanted to be the one running into the fire. Of course, he also wanted to make sure that Mouch would rise up the ranks and be a lieutenant somewhere in Firehouse 51. To do that, he talked to Chief Grissom to demote himself back to a regular firefighter. This wasn't done with any pressure from anyone else, and it makes the most sense considering the direction the show had been taking Herman. So that means Firehouse 51 still needs a chief, and Chief Pascal is that man. Newman has made it clear that he's coming back for another season. Pascal staying with Firehouse 51 makes a lot of sense as well. He's realized that he is welcome and that he is part of the family. Newman shared that the turning point for Pascal was at Monica's funeral when the whole of Firehouse 51 turned up to support him. He said that it was for family only, and Mouch made it clear that that was why they were all there. Yeah, I think the key moment for Pascal was in episode 16 and the funeral for his wife, for Monica, when they all showed up and he said, "Sorry, this funeral is family only." And Mouch said, "That's why we're here, Chief." And to me, that felt like the moment that he understood he was part of this family, and he kind of took it in. On top of that, Severide has made it clear that he trusts Pascal and wants to support him. He knew, deep down, that Pascal hadn't attempted to murder the man who hit and killed Monica. Severide just had to prove it, and he eventually did. Never once could he accept that Pascal did it, showing that faith and that commitment, and it allowed Pascal to see that this is a firehouse he can call home. I think that, we'll see him in Season 14 for sure. Of course, there are the questions of budget cuts, and the older members of the fire department are likely to be cut first. Herman could now see his job on the line, so could he end up pushing to get his boogles back so that he can take over Pascal's job? Or could Pascal end up being forced into retirement for someone new to take over Firehouse 51? In a surprising and heart-pounding twist that set the Chicago Fire fandom ablaze, showrunner Andrea Newman has officially confirmed the return of a fan-favorite character. After months of speculation and a trail of cryptic clues woven through recent episodes, the Chicago Fire boss made it clear. We'll see him in a whole new light and a whole new uniform. The returning character, none other than Matt Casey, played by Jesse Spencer. Yes, the beloved firefighter turned captain turned Portland transplant is officially making his way back to Firehouse 51, but not quite in the way viewers expect. Newman teased the character's re-entry during a recent interview, offering just enough intrigue to send theories spiraling across social media. Casey's return isn't just a cameo. It's a turning point, Newman revealed. He's not the same man who left Chicago. His journey away has changed him in ways that will ripple through the firehouse, especially for Brett, Severide, and Bowden. A changed man with a new mission. When Casey left for Oregon in Season 10 to care for his late best friend's sons, many fans hoped his departure was temporary. His relationship with Sylvie Brett, Kara Kilmer, lovingly dubbed Brettsy by devoted shippers, was left hanging by a thread. Though we saw glimmers of reconciliation in season 11, the writers kept it real. Long-distance love isn't always easy. Now Newman promises that Casey's return will ignite not just old flames but new conflicts. He's returning with an offer, not just for himself, but for the entire firehouse, she explained. He's stepping into a role that may surprise people, and not everyone's going to welcome him back with open arms. Whispers from set insiders suggest Casey may be offered a position at the CFD's headquarters, possibly as a liaison between multiple stations. This could put him at odds with Severide Taylor Kinney, who's been holding down the fort and rising in leadership. Casey and Severide have always had mutual respect, Newman said. But when they clash over protocol and heart, sparks will fly, and not just the good kind. The Brettsy reunion we've waited for. Of course, the biggest question on fans' minds. What does Casey's return mean for Sylvie Brett? We know the emotional weight Brett's been carrying, Newman shared. She's tried to move forward, to embrace life in Chicago without Casey. But his reappearance brings back everything. The love, the loss, the what if. Sources say Brett will be in the middle of making a major life decision when Casey returns, possibly even considering adoption or taking on a leadership role herself. Casey walking back into her life will upend everything. They're not the same people they were when they said goodbye, Newman hinted. But love like theirs doesn't just disappear. The question is, can they find their way back to each other, or will they find that who they've become no longer fits? Firehouse 51 feels the heat. The ripple effects of Casey's return won't stop at romance. Mouch, Christian Stolt, and Herman, David Aikenberg, who've anchored the emotional core of the team, will each have their own reactions, part joy, part skepticism. Casey was a leader, a brother, and a compass, said Newman. But when someone comes back from a journey, even with good intentions, it can disrupt the flow. Some people will embrace him. Others, they'll question if he's really here to stay, or if his return is just another goodbye waiting to happen. Ritter, Gallo, and Violet will also feel the impact, particularly as Casey takes an interest in mentoring them. According to Newman, he sees promise in them, but he also sees danger. Casey's time in Oregon taught him that good firefighters sometimes burn out if they don't have the right guidance. He's here to make sure that doesn't happen in Chicago. Could there be a wedding? Perhaps the juiciest tease of all came at the end of the interview, when Newman was asked point-blank whether Brett and Casey could finally get their happy ending, maybe even walk down the aisle. Her reply, a sly smile. Weddings have a way of sneaking up on you in this universe. Let's just say dress shopping might be in someone's future. But don't expect it to go off without a hitch. This is Chicago Fire after all. Behind the scenes, a family reunion. Off-screen, Jess Spencer's return has reignited joy among the cast and crew. Taylor Kinney, who recently returned from his own hiatus, reportedly shared a heartfelt reunion scene with Spencer that left crew members misty-eyed. They picked up like no time had passed, one set insider said. It's like having your brother back. With several major story arcs in motion, the fallout from Chief Bowden's political pressures, Stella Kidd's leadership challenges, and crews navigating fatherhood, Casey's presence is expected to play a central role in this season's back half. One episode or more.